Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something. Not even me. All right?
Alright.
You got a dream, you got to protect it. People can't do something themselves. They want to tell you you can't do it. You want something, go get it. Period.
My name is Lorena Ortega, and I am a DACA recipient.
DACA is a federal program that was established by President Obama in 2012 to address a large number of young people who were brought to this country in an undocumented status by their parents, and the hope was that by providing them deferred action, it meant that they wouldn't be deported or detained while they were pursuing education or serving in the armed forces. And so the program's titled Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, and there's approximately 800,000 people who are registered with the federal government under that program right now.
Effective immediately, the Department of Homeland Security is taking steps to lift the shadow of deportation from these young people. Over the next few months, eligible individuals who do not present a risk to national security or public safety will be able to request temporary relief from deportation proceedings and apply for work authorization.
I got DACA when I was 17 at the time. I remember applying. It was an exciting moment, but a fearful moment as well, because I didn't know much information about DACA and how you had to do what you had to do to apply. And so we contacted a lawyer with my parents so they could get that help along with me, so I could be able to receive DACA. I was fearful because I did not know the terms to it and the requirements. I thought they would have to ask background information towards my parents, and I didn't want to get them involved just because of their legal status. And I didn't want to be the cause of them getting discovered, found. Education-wise for DACA, well, at the time I was a senior in high school. I was applying for scholarships and colleges, and it was a very stressful moment because I was my terms for my limits towards applying for certain scholarships were very limited. It was every time I wanted to apply to one, I would look at the requirements and it would be oh, it has you have to be a citizen in order to apply. And just looking at that words all the time would be oh, I can't apply to this. It would just seem short, doors were getting shut down on me, and it just seemed like my opportunities were less and less than everybody else around me, because everybody else in my classes would be applying to different ones, and I'll be oh yeah, they'll have they'll probably get the scholarship and I can't get it because of my legal status. And so yeah, it was just a time where I was struggling because I was if I don't get a scholarship, then I won't be able to attend college because my parents do not have the money to send me to school, and at the time I didn't have a job either, so I myself could not even be able to afford it myself.
They were brought to this country by their parents, sometimes even as infants, and often have no idea that they're undocumented until they apply for a job or a driver's license or a college scholarship. Put yourself in their shoes. Imagine you've done everything right your entire life. Studied hard, worked hard, maybe even graduated at the top of your class, only to suddenly face the threat of deportation to a country that you know nothing about.
I don't remember my journey at all, just because I was still young. My parents, from what my parents tell me, was we came here in 2003 or 2004, and we had to cross the border. It was something, they said it was something very scary because they had a baby to carry, you know, because I wasn't old enough to be able to like walk and run like a human, you know.
How old?
I was 3.
And I just saw backstage some of the families who were decimated. Their families were decimated. Their sons, their daughters killed by illegal immigrants. And it's a massive problem. We have to stop illegal immigration. We have to do it. We have to do it.
Well, my parents decided to cross the border because back in our home, there was a lot of violence going on. Like, people were going missing. There was also rumors that there were, the police was being corrupted at the time now. Like, they were like, not people you could trust anymore. They were like people, they were hanging out with the wrong crowd at that time. So they were, it wasn't a safe place for you to stay anymore. And everybody was just walking around the streets with fear. Also because like there was like our poverty, there's so much poverty there. Like, it's just a town where money doesn't come easily, and many people are always like struggling to put food on their table for their families, and it's just a hard place to live in. And they were young still, so they were growing up themselves, and they wanted themselves to have like a better future, not only for themselves but for me too. They wanted to give me the opportunity to continue on living a life without living in fear of me being the next person, like to be a victim of like being murdered or like kidnapped, stuff like that. So they decided to move over here with me.
A Trump administration will also secure and defend the borders of the United States. And yes, we will build a Great Wall.
Do you think that maybe sometime soon DACA recipients might get some sort of pathway to citizenship?
Well, that's my hope, but I'm not going to hold my breath. The federal government has been very slow to respond to needs in the immigration system here in the United States. I would argue that it's broken and that it needs significant kind of revamping and remodeling, revitalization, because anytime you've got 11 million people who are in an uncertain immigration status, it means your system's not working. And all the border security in the world's not going to address that particular part of the equation. So I'm not optimistic at all, to be honest with you.
What are your thoughts about how just recently Trump has decided to not take any more applications?
Well, I mean, he made the statement that he was not going to be accepting any more applications, but very recently another federal court ruled against the president and against his adjustment to the DACA policy, stating that not only is DACA still in place, that the president is required to continue to accept new applications from people who are eligible for the program. Now that may end up, number is probably going to be getting smaller over time, but the fact is that the courts have consistently sided against the president. So, you know, he makes a lot of noise about undocumented and about DACA, but the federal courts have really kind of restricted his ability to do as much as he'd like to.
How do you feel about ICE separating those families?
Well, you know, I know personally of 2 examples here on campus where this has occurred in the last few months, where a student went home and one or both of their parents were gone and they had been detained by ICE. I can't imagine what that would be like, how I would feel. All I can is feel, a lot of anger that people would very willingly break a family apart, regardless of whatever reason. That's not humane. I think very insensitive. And then to think that that young person's left to try to make their way in the world without their parent, you know, even if it's just one parent, that they're there one day and then they're not the next. Those families are going to endure hardship, and it's not surprising that a lot of families are planning to return to their country of origin because of the new policies and the manner in which ICE is conducting the raids that it has. And so I don't like it at all. I think it's mean. I think that it's very destructive, and this is from a party that says that they're about family values, but apparently not these families. What people normally can expect in terms of rights as it relates to law enforcement and being arrested and detained don't apply in the immigration arena. People they're not given the same rights, they're not given the same latitude for, you know, trying to defend their rights. And so yes, there are on record a number of cases where individuals have been stopped, detained, and arrested by ICE here in the United States and have committed no crime, with the exception of having, you know, crossed the border without papers, which is not considered a criminal offense, it's a civil offense. It is punishable. There are certain penalties to it, but the idea that law enforcement or ICE would trump up charges that don't exist against that individual so they can hold them indefinitely is, like I said, to me that's very disturbing. Yet we know that that's going on. We know that it's happening. We know that it's having a profound impact. You know, if they're trying to send a message to the community that we want to scare you, they're doing a really good job of it.
Here's the reason. Because these young people are going to make extraordinary contributions and are already making contributions to our society. I've got a young person who is serving in our military, protecting us and our freedom. The notion that in some ways we would treat them as expendable makes no sense. There's a young person here who has grown up here and wants to contribute to this society, wants to maybe start a business that will create jobs for other folks who are looking for work. That's the right thing to do. Giving certainty to our farmers and our ranchers. Making sure that in addition to border security, we're creating a comprehensive framework for legal immigration. These are all the right things to do.
DACA is important to me because it has opened many opportunities for myself. It has given me the opportunity to be able to have a job. I have been working at my job for a year now, within the time I had received DACA. And also it has given me the opportunity to attend school and have the opportunity to accomplish my goals and be someone better in life and create a new path for my siblings to follow my footsteps, and for me to like inspire them to attend college as well. So DACA has not only opened more steps for me, more doors for me, but it has also gave me the opportunity to feel like I'm safe. Like when I got the news that I had been approved to receive DACA, it was a great feeling because it just felt like I felt safe, because I know like I'm protected under something, and I also have a social security to be able to apply for jobs and be able to get one and work on my own and learn how to be independent and grow. And it was just like, I don't know, it just felt amazing just to see that, because I was like, okay, like back then when I was first applying, I was fearful and everything, but after I received it, I saw that I finally had what I wanted to have. You know, it was like an accomplishment in my life, and it's just like, it just opened doors for me.
It's not the same everywhere across the United States. I think we're really lucky here at UNO that we have both state law that allows undocumented students who are to attend the university, at in-state tuitions. That doesn't happen in a lot of other states. In some states, it's illegal to even have DACA students attending their universities. State of Georgia is one example, and there are others across the country. So we're very fortunate here in Nebraska to have the Nebraska DREAM Act, and I think that makes it possible for students to attend, but they're still not eligible for any financial aid. They can't borrow any money. They're not going to be able to get any grants to attend, because almost all of those are exclusively for U.S. citizens.
I am attending the university thanks to the help and support I got from my parents and counselors from school and teachers as well, for giving me the opportunity to be able to receive the Susan Buffett Scholarship. And that has gave me the opportunity to continue on with my education and be able to go to school for free, since they are in charge of paying everything, and I just have to attend school and have good grades.
I'm connected to DACA through a program that we have here at UNO. It's a scholarship that serves students who qualify with DACA status, and so we presently have 50 students here at UNO who are on full academic scholarships while they're pursuing their undergraduate degrees, and we provide them with tuition, books, in some cases housing, but also a lot of support services, especially for students who are in families that are facing, imminent deportation, or they have families in detention. So, we think it's a great program for the university. The donor believes the same thing, and I feel very fortunate to have a part in that here at UNO. I think one of the things that students can do is perhaps, hold a teach-in about, what are the facts behind DACA? What are the things that you need to know about the program? How many people are impacted nationally in the state, and maybe even here at UNO? But I don't know if there's enough interest from people, because a lot of people operate on the basis of, well, I'm lucky that I'm not, so therefore I'm not going to give much attention to it. And yet at the end of the day, something like this diminishes all of us. This has an impact on our community, and even if students who are Latino are eligible to live in the United States, if they have family members, that's really going to put a chill on their desire to attend colleges and universities. And we're fully expecting to see a drop in enrollment of Latinos in terms of the percentage that come new every year because of this policies, because in many cases the children themselves may be U.S. citizens, but their parents are not. And so they don't want to commit to something that they're not certain they're going to be able to finish. And I have a big worry that that's going to start occurring here, that it's really going to scare people away, create fear, create anxiety. We know that it creates depression. We know that some people have committed suicide as a consequence of these issues.
I don't want to return to a place I hardly know anything about now. Like, I know there's a lot of changes that have happened there, and most of my family is here, so I would be separated from my loved ones. Also, I would not be able to study anymore, and I wouldn't be able to prosper my dreams of becoming a nurse one day. Also, it's just it would be a hard process to lose everything I have worked so hard for, and just lose it all and feel like I wasn't able to accomplish anything.